Highway 97 and read the signs. You can't do that. It's scary. And that's a bad corner anyway for accidents, so we don't need to have anything there that's going to make things unsafe for the public. So if we have proper signage and we clean it up, first thing we need to do is actually at the regional district level is to review our signage bylaw. We don't actually have a bylaw for signs. Our signage is actually, regulations are actually inside our zoning bylaw. So either we keep it there or we have a separate signage bylaw and we review what we have, make it sensible to what there should be. Then once we've corrected our situation, we can go to highways and say, let's do it in partnership and together, so we can take care of all of them at once. Okay, and we'll phone up all the businesses and let them know what's going on, and or notify them somehow. And we'll, if they don't get them off in a certain amount of time, then we'll pick them up ourselves. They can pick them up, but then we'll have penalties probably if they put it back up, because doing this every 10 years is kind of silly. So
And do you think that's a timeline that might be done within the next year or so? It's hard to tell.
yeah, it'll be on the 2014 work plan. It wouldn't be before that, but it'd be nice to get it going before next summer. Okay, because they all pop up in the summer. So that's when we got to do it. So it should be the end of this year, the beginning of next. We'll be looking at, it'll take a few meetings to figure it out, and then we'll have to meet with the Minister of Transportation and figure that out. But the minister at UBCM, he was very receptive about it. I also had a separate meeting with their staff, and they were liking what we're doing, and we just have to make sure we do it together. So we'll do.
And it would be important to get the ball rolling before the next election, so that you've sort of paved the way for, if it's not completed before the next election, at least the work has been started and it lays the groundwork for the next area director, whether it's yourself or whether it's somebody else, to continue on with the work and to make sure things are accomplished.
Yeah, that's right. So I'd like to see it done before the end of the, but I don't know. That's because we're working with the Ministry of Transportation. It's really their timeline too. So I'm not sure if we're going to accomplish it by next November. But if we can, all the better. I'd like to see it done by then. Yeah.
And were there any other ministers that you met then at UBCM?
Yeah, I met with Steve Thompson in support of the trail situation, and it's really a lot about getting it figured out in terms of the KVR right-of-way, and making sure that they don't sell or lease, with all sorts of restrictive conditions to anybody else on those leases to outside of local government. So we'd like to see local government be able to attain tenure on KVR and even the Channel Parkway, and so we can do updates and get it things we want to do, and also maintain and operate them to where they're up to the level that our citizens expect. So that's what we're after with him, and that was well received. The staff and Minister Thompson is definitely behind any kind of trail activity, and see that as a big economic generator. So that's all good. Met with the Minister of Health, with everybody there, and that was good, led by Judy Sentes, okay, because Janice wasn't able to make it, so Janice Perino wasn't able to make it, so Judy Sentes led the discussions with Minister of Health, what's his name? Terry Lake, and so that went well. Obviously, we're keeping the heat on. We want to make sure that they're going to start the shoveling as soon as possible, and until we see the machinery start doing something, we're going to keep on them constantly. It's really, they say that it's the top priority for them, so we've got to make sure it stays there. Okay, so that was definitely good. Who else? So I met with staff from Agriculture Ministry to discuss the restaurant issue still with just the ALC staff. Okay, not just Ministry of Agriculture, but the ALC people too. Um, and so that was good. So yeah, I think that went well. I think everything went well for minister meetings.
Sounds like actually you're really busy considering it was about 4 days, maybe 5 days, 4 days in total, really. I mean, the minister meetings are about 2 of those days. So it was a lot of information crammed in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's right. And there's still lots of other things going on. There's lots of resolutions, and I like to be there for the resolutions. They had a very good trade show, and I definitely check out the trade show for because there's a lot of stuff going on in Area C, like infrastructure, sewer, water, that kind of thing. And I like to see what else is in there anyway. So I always check out the trade shows. FCM has a really good trade show for the infrastructure people. Like landfill and garbage and recycling pickup and sewer and water, that kind of stuff and I'm doing a lot of that, and so I want to know what's going on as far as industry is concerned. So the trade show is important, and that's at least a full day too. Then they had good workshops and clinics. And I went to the Canada-U.S. trade agreement thing. I went to a communications seminar, and then and a couple other things. There was so much going on, and also there was some speeches. I like to hear how the politicians speak to us and what's on their mind, and it's always nice to hear that. And of course, our Stephen Lewis was the keynote speaker, and he was fabulous. Worth the price of admission, I tell you. He was just great to listen to. Everybody really enjoyed him, and he was funny, and a seasoned veteran politician and speech maker, and a guy like me who makes speeches looks at that and goes, "Oh, I'm so far behind him,"
It definitely is an art. It definitely is an art.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's end off with contact information, because of course you have your own APC, your planning council, and then contact information for yourself. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, for example, do they call you at home? Do they contact you through the RDOS? And then just tell the general public a little bit about what your APC does, if they meet on a monthly basis, how many people are involved.
Okay, I've got about 7 or 8. I think one of them resigned recently, and so I think it's down to 7 now. Looking for potential newcomers if anybody's interested. So and they deal with land use issues, and if I need them to assist me on policy, I'll give them a call and maybe have a special meeting for that. The staff will also ask for an APC meeting to deal with, for instance, we did the SOSCP, the conservation group, had that Living with Nature document, and so they wanted some input on that, and so that happens with the APC. And then, of course, any applications that come to the APC, that come to the board, I like to send it off to the APC and see what they have to say about that. So I try to keep them busy. Lately, there hasn't been too many applications, but we've met anyway on some policy issues, so that's good. And they're a great bunch. They're definitely into doing what's best for the community, and I've got a good diverse group of men, women, and different religious and cultural people there, and so and youth, young and old, and so I got a nice mix there, I think. So yeah, it's good. And they always make really good decisions. I don't always go along with them, but I think it's really valuable for the board to have their input, and so that's good. Yeah. No.
And so if you have a spot available for your APC now and somebody was interested, where could they get more information and how could they contact you?
Okay, my contact information is my email, mostly, apatton@rdos.ca. patton3.bc.ca. And they can always phone the office, find out how to get a hold of me. And they can always send letters. But I prefer the cell. So if you can, do the cell, which is 485-2288. Okay? So the cell and the email is good, or just phone the office in Penticton, and they can let you know how to get a hold of me. And it's pretty easy. There's snail mail, email. There's tons of ways now. Eh?
There's almost too many to choose
too
from,
many, yeah.
because you
Twitter,
could probably
Facebook,
look even at their website, the RDUS website, and you'd be
That's
able to
right.
get information and contact information for Director Patton. Thank you so much. We'll let you get back to your orchard and back to your house, and you have a beautiful house that you're in the midst of constructing still, and we know you're a very busy guy. So thank you for sitting with us, and you're going to pass me an apple.
Have an apple,
I've been
yeah.
eyeing them up. Thank you. This is Margie Basso for Eastlink TV. Well, we hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.